Well, guys, the real estate market is changing, and with the real estate market changing, yes, my business has to change as well. What's up, guys? It's McKeown back again with another video this week. Today, I wanted to discuss with you something that I put on my Instagram just this past week. Now, what I put on my Instagram earlier this week was just the different ways that I'm approaching business now and really cutting expenses at the end of the day because of the real estate market and kind of the shift that we are starting or have already started to see. Now, if you've been watching every single one of my YouTube videos, I actually made a YouTube video recently saying that I am officially done growing a real estate team. Now, to give you guys some backstory there, I would say about 14 months ago, I started to build a real estate team. Now, the downside to that was I actually bought 3 of my past clients that had actually turned into friends into kind of what I call my bread and butter, my real estate team. Now, obviously, with them being friends, I thought it would be a good opportunity to bring them in, get their license, and show them the road to success as a realtor. Now, the downside of that was I had a hard time understanding the difference from an actual friend and someone that was a friend in your business trying to take advantage of you. So unfortunately, I grew my team to about 8 to 10 agents and had let a majority of them walk, or a lot of them decided to walk. So I'm actually down to 2 or 3 total real estate agents on my team now. Now, to give you guys more of an idea of the monetary spend that I put on building a team, I spent about $175,000 in about 12 months trying to grow my team. That's just with ad spend for the leads for my agents, the cost of the office space, the cost of staff, the cost of just allowing myself to leverage other people's time in hopes to be able to earn more income. Now, $175,000 unfortunately only led to me making a return of $125,000. Now, over the long term, you can kind of see that that is not a very successful business. So yes, the very first thing that I did to slash costs in the last couple months was basically eliminate the progression of me building a real estate team. The 2 biggest items on my expense sheet were really related to me growing a team. Now, staff-wise, I have a business manager, I have a transaction coordinator, I have a videographer, and I have an editor. Now, the intent was my business manager helps maintain and really grow and educate my team because I'm not necessarily always going to be in the office. Well, she is sticking around, and I've actually gone up and increased her salary. Now, my team transaction coordinator, a keyword there being team. Now, yes, I have my own personal transaction coordinator, which helps with all the back-end systems when it comes to transactional volume. She's still sticking with me, but my team transaction coordinator is unfortunately finding an alternative job. Now, the reason being there is obviously being a team transaction coordinator, she is no longer needed if I am not growing a team. The 2 agents or 3 agents that I do have still on my team, and my business manager will be able to take care of their transactions as a transaction coordinator. Now, on the filming side of things, yes, I have a videographer and an editor. As of a couple months back, I actually decided, because again, I was growing a team and I heavily, really push social media on all of my agents. Unfortunately, not all of them understand. I would say probably 95% of them don't understand the power of social media. The downside of that is they weren't utilizing my videographer and editor really at all. So unfortunately, without the heavy use of a videographer and editor, I had to kind of cut down on one of those 2 expenses. I'm not going to stop making videos. I'm not going to stop making content. So yes, I still need a videographer. And the 10-year time that my videographer has been with the company is going to continue to keep him here. But my editor, who's been on staff for a couple months, I'm going to bring him back to kind of a pay-per-project structure, which basically means if my videographer is busy, I can send him a video and he can basically look at how much it takes and how many hours it takes to edit that particular video, and then I would just pay him straight out of pocket as a 1099. So all in all, when we're talking salary and we're talking adjusting to the shift and just talking about the fact that my business is probably going to take a little bit of a downturn due to the real estate market just softening and it's not being crazy like it's really been over the last 2 years, I have decided to, as I mentioned, increase my business manager salary, let go of my team TC, and really take my editor back to a 1099 opportunity. That's going to save me anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Now, we're just talking salaries alone. That's going to be one of my biggest expenses, but I would say the next easiest and most ineffective, I guess I could say, expense that was on my books was ad spend. Now, when we're talking ad spend is what I had been paying for my agents to receive leads. These agents receive the leads, and my hope was for them to be able to turn these into completed transactions, and then I get a portion of their commission back. Now, the downside of this is when you have agents that are new to the business or struggling to be able to even close a transaction, even if you give them a lead, not all the time is it going to result in a completed transaction. And I started to see, after spending close to $10,000 a month for Zillow leads, obviously you have to close that transaction to get any kind of monetary value back to be able to return the $10,000 that you've been spending, or that I've been spending every single month on leads. So after all of that, yes, I've kind of disassembled my team outside of a couple agents. That is saving me a tremendous amount of money. I've actually filmed an entire video on why I decided to disassemble my team. But on top of that, I've also stopped really Zillow spend altogether, and I've also cut down on my expenses when it comes to salaries. So monthly, I'm saving anywhere from about $14,000 to $15,000 a month just from those two biggest expenses. There's also a lot of other miscellaneous expenses that, as a team leader and a individual that runs an entire real estate company, certainly has as far as daily expenses. Now, I'll give you guys an idea. A CRM, which is basically a system that we use to track leads and also reach out to multiple leads and just be able to see all of the incoming and outgoing lead generation opportunities that we have. I decided to cut that off entirely. That's gonna save me about $4,000 a year, which is roughly $300 to $400 a month, close to $450. On top of that, I was also able to cut off a lot of the time and the effort that I was putting towards helping my team grow. As I mentioned before, I've spent the last 12 to 14 months really diving in and helping these individuals grow. And a lot of that time is going to be able to be put back into my personal life or back into YouTube videos or even my personal production. Now, I have nothing against individuals that want to grow a real estate team. If you're an individual solo producing agent and you're thinking of growing a real estate team, I'll give you guys kind of an idea. Now, when we were in high school, we were all told that the only road to success was graduating high school and going to college. Now, what did we do at 18 or 19, maybe 17 years old? We did exactly what we were told. We, for the most part, outside of, an individual such as myself that just decided to do something much differently, we all go to college. Now, they also tell you once you graduate college, you need to start your career. That's, how you become successful. In your 20s, you need to find your significant other, get married, and maybe have a family. That, again, is how you are deemed successful in our society. It's very, very similar in the real estate realm, where you start off as a solo producing agent. Maybe you join a team. If you join a team, eventually you start producing enough to go off and be a solo agent. Once you become successful enough as a solo agent, just based on the trajectory of a real estate agent, you're told to start building a team. Now, once you start building a team, you're supposed to be making a whole bunch more money and just seen as this individual that is extremely successful. Now, yes, I've been making an extremely large amount of income, but I can tell you it's not from me growing my team. So if you are by chance a real estate agent, or maybe you're starting to get your real estate license, this is my tip to you. Just be a solo producing agent. Now, I'm not saying don't go join a team. I'm, a firm believer that if you are a, new agent or new to a market, that joining a team can be a great asset to you. I just personally don't see the huge, desire to grow a team. To be honest with you, it reminds me going back to what profession I left, which was high school teaching. It's really putting me right back in that same profession where instead of teaching high school kids, now I'm just teaching grown adults that don't want to work or think that being as a real estate agent, they can wake up whenever they want, show up to work whenever they want, and put in as little effort as they can and think that they're going to be successful. Unfortunately, if you've been following me, you know that that's not the truth. I have been working my off for the last 5 years, and because of that is really what has become of my success. Now, over the last 12 to 14 months, a lot of what I've been doing has been reinvesting what I get from my revenue share from my brokerage back into my team. Now, my revenue share has continued to grow, and for those of folks that aren't necessarily in real estate or do not know what revenue share is, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory and an understanding of what it is. Revenue share is an opportunity for me to help a brokerage grow and attract the agents and bring them into the company. For instance, if I were able to bring you into my company and you were a single producing agent in your market, you're going to pay a cap or pay a fee to the brokerage regardless what brokerage you go to. Whether it's Keller Williams, whether it's Coldwell Banker, whether it's Real, the brokerage I'm at. However, recently in the last 5 to 6 years, there's been brokerages that have started to implement what we call revenue share. Now, that revenue share basically means, hey, you're already going to pay the brokerage some kind of split. So now the brokerage, depending on who brought you into the company, the brokerage is going to turn back around and give some of that back to the agent that attracted you to the company. Well, fast forward 2 years since I've been at Real Brokerage, which is the brokerage that was only at 1,100 agents when I joined in October of 2020. I've now attracted over 30 agents myself, and I have close to 300 underneath me. Now, that alone pays almost all of my business expenses when I was growing a team, but that puts me in a position where, hey, Casey McKeown, me, myself, has to close deals. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to afford, my lifestyle, my normal personal expenses, my mortgage, so on and so forth. When in reality, your hope is that your business pays enough to salary yourself as well as enough to cover all of your business expenses and personal expenses. But really, that's not where my business or team growth really ever was. So that's also another big reason why I decided to stop. So now moving forward, I'm going to be able to actually pocket all of my revenue share and reinvest that into investments, reinvest that into potential deals down the road, or potentially even, give myself an opportunity to maybe invest in a completely different market than real estate. All in all, it goes back to what I really began as real estate, which is a solo agent. Now, yes, I'm going to have a transaction coordinator, still going to have a videographer and a business manager that helps me grow my company, but I'm going to be very, very lean, and that's what you need to do in a changing market. So with the aid of those 300 agents underneath me that I'm collecting income off of, I don't necessarily need to sell a house. Now, if I decide to travel and attract more agents to the company, not saying that I'm stepping away from production, but production definitely is going to and has already started to slow down in the month of August moving into September. And I can tell you, I'm not necessarily going to rely solely on my revenue share income, but I'm also not going to have that money be completely gone because I'm wasting it all on a growth of a team that really saw no success. Also, another thing that I want to bring up just for folks that have been watching me for a while or watching my videos for the intent to maybe get your real estate license, I can tell you it's not all sunshine and rainbows. I can tell you if you're a new agent and there's 100 agents taking your test prep class or about to take your state exam, 93 of 100 brand new agents do not renew their license after 2 years. So there's a very high failure rate. I've been very fortunate and blessed with the opportunity that I've been given, and I've not let go of it since I started. And I can tell you, a lot of it has been very, very early mornings and very late nights, but I also do not ever want to go back to my previous profession. Nothing against high school teaching. My mom's a teacher, my sister's a teacher, as well as my grandma was when she was alive. I have a lot of respect for teachers. I just don't want to ever see myself go back to a profession where I was not happy at. So the mindset that a lot of people have with, hey, I'm going to get my real estate license and be this uber successful rich person, it's not all what you see on TV. So just know that, hey, if you're getting your real estate license, if you're getting your inspector's license, or if you're getting your appraisal's license or appraiser's license, or really going at whatever kind of self-employed business venture you want to go on, it's not going to be easy. And there's not really one business out there that you have guaranteed success with. So whatever you do want to pursue, make sure that you pursue it, that you love it, and that you're going to put all your time and effort into it, especially early on in your career. So really what I've gone from is spending rather than $50,000 to $60,000 a month, I've been able to cut off close to $20,000 in monthly expenses. If you do the real quick math there, 20 times 12 for 12 months, you're looking at north of $240,000 or $250,000 that I'm saving from disassembling my team and just stopping the senseless spending that a lot of people start to do to be able to generate and grow a real estate team. Now, I just recently filed my 2021 taxes. I'm going to actually make a full-on video of that and breaking down all the expenses and income generated from my business and all my other ventures. But I can tell you, being able to be a more profitable business, yes, you're going to be paying more taxes, but it's going to help you in the long run to be able to acquire more properties in the future. So yes, heading into this market shift where most agents are going to see a considerable drop in production, me personally, my choices of kind of the shift that I decided to take was to stop building a team, because a team is a very expense-heavy move for most real estate agents. On top of that, I decided to kind of dwindle down on my staff. A lot of that comes with the need of growing a team is having more staff, so I decided to cut a little bit on there and just cut down on a lot of senseless spending. And because of that, I'm going to really be able to operate truly just on my revenue share alone. If Casey McKeown doesn't sell a house for 4 to 6 months, which I can tell you has never happened in my real estate career. But if for some odd reason that happens where it takes me 2, 3, 4 months to close a deal, I'm not going to be hurting to pay the bills, pay my electricity bill, pay my mortgage, and pay my staff, because I have the opportunity with my brokerage and the opportunity to collect rev share from the agents that I've attracted to Real Broke. So yes, me as a realtor moving forward, with the market kind of shifting and production for probably most real estate agents going to be taking a pretty significant downturn, I've set myself up to be pretty successful moving forward. Now, this could very much be said for really any other profession or any other self-employed business. I would highly suggest, if you do own a business with kind of where everything's headed with inflation and potential recession, as well as just people being a lot more stingy probably with their money moving forward, you could probably apply a lot of what I'm doing in my real estate business to your own personal business as well. Now, the beauty about real estate is the fact that just like eating food, it's a requirement for human beings, just like water is required for us to be able to live. We all are going to need a roof over our head, okay? So the nice part about being a real estate agent is people aren't just going to randomly stop buying and selling houses. So I know business is going to continue to be there, just maybe not as much as it has been. So yes, the real estate market is certainly taking a little bit of a downturn. Is it going to absolutely crash? We do not know. Is there going to be an incredible, horrible recession? We do not know. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the proactive approach to be able to continue to be in business for decades to come. So I appreciate all of your guys' support. Make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help. Stay tuned for the next video.